She has the ability to learn and modify according to the experience with you. She can learn anything. She can complete any given task, and she follows Asimov's laws 100%. She's a person without being one. Very intriguing.
So it can't hurt me.
Unlike real women, she won't hurt you.
Can I choose the way she's in the book? I mean, the hardware.
But you've already made the choice. The purpose of this conversation was to draft her looks.
Wait, I didn't even tell you what I like.
Thank you, Eugene. See you at the cosmic shop. The candidate accepts the totalitarian view. The woman must contain all the attributes of fertility. So I just finished cleaning, but with this laundry, that's my dirty clothes. That's his dirty clothes. Then I got these dirty clothes. I don't even know where to start. But I did clean up though. Up here at least. So, um, I had this dream. I had this dream. And in this dream there was um there was this I was at my mom's house. I was parking a car and I hit it a few times. I hit the car a few times. But it wasn't a big scratch. And I got the car parked. My mom was like, leave it just like that. Leave the car parked where it's at. And I was like, oh, well, I was going to park this car behind that car. And she was like, no, just leave it just like that. So I left it like that. And there was this fence in front of the cars. And in this fence, there was a baby. No, at first it was a dog. At first it was a dog, and um, she was like releasing this dog. She went over there to the fence and she cut like the chain, the rope on the dog. And she was like, I don't know why they got this dog. Um, but then later on, that dog was gone. And then there was, in its place, there was a baby. And that's where that dream ended with her. Um, so then there was this baby, and this baby was in chains outside. I don't know, because it was a baby, then it went from a baby to a kitten. It was like shape shifting. It's weird. Okay, so the baby, see, I'm getting all mixed up. And then there was um, so before that dream, it was a dream I had of my sister. And my sister had, we was at a daycare, and she was basically pointing out all the wrongs that they was doing. And there was another baby. There was a baby that was with me. I don't know if it was my baby. It might have been. I don't know. But then this baby was, no, I think it was my sister's baby. It was a girl. And she was, the teacher, it was like three teachers. And one of those teachers was upset about something. And they wind up, getting this in this big argument because there was a spill of cleaning solution, and the baby got the cleaning solution. She got um, in contact with the cleaning solution as well as another baby. And this baby's eyes eventually, later on, a baby's eyes she could see, but before, in the beginning, when she first got contact with the cleaning solution, I would do this to her, and she wouldn't follow my fingers or her eyes. So I knew that there was something wrong with her eyes. She was kind of like blind in a way because the cleaning solution got into her eyes. And then um, we wind up leaving, and we was trying to catch this bus, and the baby was with me. We was trying to catch this bus, and there was this house we came to, and this house was like, it was, I don't know, we we came to this, no, yeah, this house was a house where I was like, oh, I seen you. And I seen you and that little boy because you and that little boy was on YouTube. I seen y'all. And I was like, you was dancing and she was saying something. And it was like, well, the little boy was like, no, I wasn't dancing. You must got me confused. I was like, no, I know when I see. I was like, you is that little boy and you is that woman. And y'all was on YouTube. I watched y'all before. And then they was just like, no, no. But in the back of my mind, I'm like, yep, that's who y'all is. And then we wind up leaving because we was still trying to catch this bus. So this one bus came, and I had rode that bus before, and I'm like, that's not the bus because that bus goes in a different direction. He was just nice enough to drop me off at, close to my home, but that's not the one that we need to take. That one goes all the way to, at that time, the place where I'm staying. I guess I was in Akron because I said that one goes to Cuyahoga Falls. So we can't take that one. So then it was this other bus. In this bus, I knew that this was the bus we had to take, even though we seen another bus go past. And it was confusing because I'm like, that bus we used to take, and it dropped us off right where we would go. And then so we let that bus go past. Well, we missed that bus, and that bus was like was our route. It was our route. So then we missed that bus, and the bus that came was a different bus. And I don't know where I was going with this bus for real. because they kept telling me, this is the bus you should take, you can take. And I was just like, kind of like, I don't think this is the right bus. But I got on the bus because I'm following their lead. Um, so this bus, there was another bus that told this bus it would stop this bus because this bus almost, left us a couple times. So we finally got on the bus, and it was like this guy in the back of the bus, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm from this program, this and that." I'm like, "You from that program? You still going to that program?" And he was like, "Yeah." I was like, because that program I used to go to, I was in high school, and I would be in this Upward Bound program. The Upward Bound program, I would go on campus in college during the summer of my junior and senior year. I would be in this program, and we would stay on campus and basically take college courses to prepare us for college. So we went back to, that's another reason why I passed with like a 3.2, 3.4, because I was taking college classes. So when I got to school, when we returned back to school in the school year and the summer was over, I actually knew more. And I knew more than the average student because I was taking other courses in college. So this guy was like, he was sitting in the back of the bus, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm going to this program." I'm like, "We older now." I'm like, "Why is you still going to this program?" He was like, "Well, despite how old you are, we can still go if we want to. We can just, go for our own reasons. We can go if we just want to swim. We can go just because." I was like, "Wow, I didn't know that." I was like, "If you go there, um, I was like, if you in that program still, and we older, then I think that, it'd make you seem like you didn't pass or you didn't graduate, and you still in the same program, and everybody around you is growing up and getting older and maturing, and we are still in this program. Like, what? I don't understand, but okay, you know." And so he was like, "Yeah, I'm still in this program. I graduated everything, but I still go to this program because I like being around the people, or I like it. It's fun for me." So I'm like, okay. So he on his way to the program. He in the back of the bus, and we all in the bus. Um, Eventually, I meet two girls, and we like talking and this and that, and then we get off of the bus, and eventually we end up in this hospital. Well, I think I'm still there, but I'm kind of somewhere else as well because I feel like subconsciously I wind up in a situation. No, actually, I was there in the hospital. Okay, so I was in the hospital. I wound up being in this hospital, and I was with my mom. My mom was in a wheelchair at the time, and we got on this elevator, and this elevator um, broke down. So we was stuck in this elevator, and this is a sad part. Um, we was stuck in this elevator, and we was pressing the buttons, but the elevator wouldn't move. And then she did something to where we can see outside the elevator. And I'm like, just stop messing with the buttons. It'll come on eventually. I mean, it start working again eventually. But we didn't know if anyone was gonna come help because everybody was in their own world at the hospital. Like nobody. It was like an older part of the hospital. This part looked like it was like it hasn't been rebuilt. It hasn't been touched or nothing. So everybody in the hospital is just minding their business, and we are, we just like, if anything goes wrong, we press these buttons. It's like maybe they will come and maybe they don't, and they wind up never coming. So then, um, my mom wind up crawling up a rope at the top of climbing that rope at the top of the elevator where the elevator goes up and down. She wound up getting out, climbing up that rope and making it to the top. And then she wound up getting out. Um, and then later on, like she swung and then she wound up making it to another, um, to a room at the top, some type of opening where she just jumped off and she wound up making it somewhere else. But later on, she found out that the baby that was in the elevator with us had died of suffocation or something like that. It was sad, you know. Yeah, that baby that was in the elevator, and also the mom. And I think that I was in there with it, so it was probably me and the baby. We wound up dying, and the baby died of suffocation later on when she found help to get someone to open the elevator. Yeah, that was the sad part. I actually had, it was some part of that dream where there was the baby had come back as a spirit or something. So then when she jumped into this room, it was full of animals. It was full of like lions and monkeys and gorillas and this and that because you know when you don't know, well I don't know what was, it's like I don't know, it turned into like some type of airport area where you know they shipping stuff, and then in the midst of shipping stuff they got all these tested animals from different countries, and that's where that little place led her when she got off of the elevator. It was this place where there was animals. So then she disguised herself as one of them, and eventually, um, they bought the fact that I guess, she freaking shapeshift and pretending like she was one of them. And eventually, they bought the fact that she was one of them, and you know the dream went on, and then she wound up um, they wound up learning and growing off of her, and they became developed to the point where you know they're acting, walking, and talking as people. So then um, that happened, but then we're gonna go back to the because I don't know where I was going from there. I think that part ended there. So then I'm gonna go back to the fence. So then we're gonna go back to the fence, and in this fence there was a child. It was like a baby. This baby can talk. This baby was, I would say, probably one-ish younger than one, just months. And I no, it wasn't a baby. I think it was a kitten. I don't know. I don't know if it was a baby or a kitten because at first it looks like a kitten, but then the man who kept this baby chained up in the backyard said that yeah, it had to be a kitten. I don't know why I'm thinking it's a baby because at one point I think it was a baby. So I guess it's a whole bunch of shapeshifter in my dream. So he come out there and he's like, um, no, it had to be a baby because he came out there with some Similac and he was feeding the baby, but he said he couldn't take it in the house because his wife was allergic. So I was like, what? So is this a kid or is it a baby? Like, so then he really, we found out later on that he actually really cared about this baby slash kitten, whatever it was. And but because it was chained up, we thought that he didn't, so we wound up letting it loose. No, he wound up letting it loose when we was trying to actually cut it loose because we thought that there was, you know, it was in danger because it was chained up, or it was chained up against his will, so we thought it was in danger. So we wind up we was about to free it, but then he came out and he cut the cut the rest of the rope and was like, here, go ahead, take it, and I want to say her, so take her. And he told us what was going on, and then we wound up taking it. So then I wound up getting, it was me and the two girls that got off of the bus. So then my brother popped up, and me and my brother was going through it. He was staying in a part of the house. He was staying in the attic. So me and my brother got into it, and mind you, the two girls are still with me. We all in the house, and he kept coming downstairs, starting stuff with us, talking about well, I was angry with him. He made me mad, so he was coming downstairs, starting stuff, but at the same time trying to get on my good side, trying to get me to talk to him again because I wasn't talking to him. So then the two girls, they would talk to him, but eventually he started getting to them to where they start losing trust in me, and we started getting into it with each other. In the midst of this cat or this baby is just minding his business, doing what it's doing. But at the same time, we was kind of getting suspicious of it because it was kind of, I felt like it was giving off this bad energy. You know, we felt like that, and it was just, I don't know. It just was like a distraction. So then, they wind up. We had this thing we had to figure out, and it was like a mind type game type thing. And the more I tried to tell them, what I knew, we was kind of in disagreement. But then we came into agreement. Like, this part is foggy. I'm just going off of what I remember. So it's not in order, but they were. Um, I don't know, that part got me for real because I don't know what that part was, but at the end, the animal slash whatever baby, the female thing, wound up reconnecting with the guy because she found that, oh, you do want me, you do care about me because that guy did visit them. He came to visit he was visiting the thing. I'm gonna say the thing. He was visiting it, and he basically wanted her back. But then I seen her, and at the end of my dream, I seen him. I'm like, he wound up taking it. Well, this was close to the end of my dream. He wound up taking it. I'm like, I sent the text. I'm like, I see you just take my cat or my child cat, female it, and he was like, I was like, get it, you can bring it back. And then I was like, I feel like sometimes you mistreat it to where, when you drink and stuff, then you kind of um I was like, when you drink and stuff, I feel like you hurt the cat. You hurt it. So that's what's going on. But he did really want it because he said when he didn't drink and stuff, he was treated the best. You know, even though it was chained up against his will, he cared for this. And he kept going and nurturing whatever it was. So then, I think I told it all. Um, like I said, that part, the one with the girls and my sibling, and that one is kind of confusing. I don't know what was going on with that, but I think I got through most of that dream. It was a crazy dream. So yeah, I'm gonna end with that, and yeah, I think that's all that was about that dream. Cause I got fought like that one part of the two girls, and then my sibling, and then somebody, I think my parent or they parent or somebody came to, help the situation. But that part is really, foggy. I don't know what was going on there. When it comes to mine, I'll tell you. But until then, bye, and thanks for listening to my dream. So I'm watching this video. To build a beautiful life, you must detox from this. And currently, she's talking about how to detox from convenience. And then she mentioned sleep hygiene. And that's kind of what got me right there, because my doctor did mention sleep hygiene. And I Googled it. But what I found was that sleep hygiene is basically cleanliness. But I guess she's about to break it down, and this is what I want to listen to. Um, so back to detox from convenience. I felt what popped into my mind about detox from convenience is recently I got rid of my microwave. Not only because it was rusted inside and it was kind of a, you know, something to take precaution to when your child is, a child safe zone type mindset. Not only that, because I could have kept it, you know, and a lot of people would have kept it just because they don't want to buy a new microwave. Just because, and, prolong the situation. I'm going to keep it for some more time. But like I said, I could have done that, and that was also in the back of my mind. But it's like, if I don't do it now, I'm not going to do it later because, you know, I don't have another microwave. So, kind of detoxing from conveniency is more so of the microwave. It's convenient. It's easy to heat up your stuff. It's easy to, cook and go. It's easy to heat and, let and go and do what you got to do. So it's kind of like now you're retraining your mind. Now you're becoming more patient with the situation. Instead of going to that microwave and fixing whatever that needs heated up, instantly you will go to your stove. Um, you know, heat it up that way. Your oven, heat it up that way. Your air fryer, heat it up that way. Your toaster oven, heat it up that way instead. And it's kind, like I say, it takes more time in these type of, um, it takes more time. Is my phone ringing? Oh. It takes more time. I can't even, in those, I can't think of what I was about to say. It's like it's on my tongue, but I can't think of how to put it. In those, it takes more time in those appliances. That's what I was actually thinking of. It takes more time in those type of appliances rather than the microwave itself. Instead of 1 minute, it might take 3, 4, 5. So it's like you're waiting for this to, warm up. You're hungry, but at the same time, it's training your body to be patient. It's training your mind to be patient. So what I can say from letting go of my microwave, I have been slow to eat. I have been just kind of sitting back and doing other things. And I'm not really thinking about, food too much as I would when I go and I run to that microwave to heat up something. I'm not thinking about it as much. It's not something fast I can make, so I'm kind of slow paced when it comes to eating because I know I'll have to cook it. It's a lot of decisions that I've made recently. I always do make these kind of decisions though, when it comes to personal growth. It's like I do this because I know that personally I will develop that mindset that I will need to, that I will need to have going forward in the future. So it's kind of preparing myself for later. And it just came to mind recently, like, oh my gosh, what if my freaking air fryer go out? Because my air fryer is at that point. My air fryer is an old appliance. It's very, very old to the point where, my mom gave it to me, but at the same time, it was a hand me down from someone else. So my air fryer is very, very old. So I'm just thinking, like, oh my gosh, so eventually I'm going to have to figure this out, um, and turn to something else, or eventually financially get myself together to where I'm gonna have to invest. I'm gonna start having to put some money aside and invest in something. But I'm on a time, and that's what she said. Also, she was like, "Time is a trigger. Time is definitely a trigger because if it wasn't for time, I wouldn't be thinking so much about, oh my gosh, I got to do this before this happens. And it's more so of a time in a different way, not clock time or alarm time. It's kind of like alarm time, but you're on your own time. You know how the alarm goes off and stuff like that. It's like we are built. Our mindset is built around time. We are walking clocks. If you haven't realized that already, we are walking clocks. When we go out here, we're constantly on a time. If it's not the time on the clock, we're on a different time. We're constantly on this schedule to where we need to do something, before a certain time. Just like, you know, me thinking about that air fryer, and then, the microwave. I gave away my microwave. Now I'm thinking about the air fryer. Now I got to invest into something else just in case my air fryer goes out. That's time itself. That's a clock in my mind. A time in a different way. Not looking at the clock, but more so I already got it planted in my head that, this is going to happen. This needs to happen, you know, at a certain time. And that time is when my air fryer goes out, you know. So yeah. So yeah, that's what I'm watching now, and I am about to listen to what she has to say about sleep hygiene because that's actually what caught my attention because my doctor did mention need to detox from is the things that are going to harm us in the long term. Okay, it's very convenient to get that stimulant instead of making sure that everybody's on a good sleep hygiene routine and everybody goes to bed. And you keep working on that sleep hygiene routine. Oh, but my 2-year old doesn't. You keep working on that sleep hygiene routine. You keep going for it. You keep making that routine because guess what? You're going to have to break this habit loop. And this habit loop is not very easy to break if you've been actually feeding it for years. Sleep hygiene routine. It's just, it's not going to break because you've been feeding it for years. Now you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, and now you're like, oh, well, I tried this for 2 weeks and it doesn't work because you have to keep doing it. This habit loop takes time to break. So I guess sleep hygiene is more so of a habit. You're building a habit um, out of something. I guess like those times you're spending too much in a bed. You're building a schedule. It's like building a schedule, building a routine around your sleep hygiene. So it's like instead of, laying in the bed, make your bed. Instead of laying in the bed, go fix something to eat. Instead of laying in the bed and watching your phone, go lay on the couch and watch TV. Instead of laying in the bed and doing this, do that instead. And therefore, now you're building a routine. You're slowly building a routine around the sleep hygiene. You know, something like that. So, yeah. Let me see.
So the number one thing you have to detox from is convenience. So what can you do? What can you do on a daily basis? How can you
And kind of do something in a way that isn't noticeable, isn't obvious. Because if you know that it's obvious, like, oh, I'm only doing this because I'm trying to skip out or prevent myself from laying in the bed, then you're going to go lay in the bed. That's just in us. Like, that's kind of our immature inner childishness inside of us. If I know if I do this, then I'm only doing it because it is. So why would I do it? You know, and you make it harder for yourself. You make it more complicated because that's just you. That's what you're doing. You're human at the end of the day. You're going to try to not. You're going to not do something just because you know that if you do it, it's going to lead to this, and you're kind of seeing it before it happens. So therefore, this is preventing you from doing it because you don't want this to happen, but at the same time you want it to happen, but you can't. you know you want it to happen, but you already know what's going to happen and you know where it's going. So therefore, since you already know, you're kind of slowing down the process, because since you already know what's going to happen, it's just like that kid in school, or that person that's just taking their time. They at work and they sitting there chilling and stuff because you got you work this job, and you're so in tune with the job that you can do this at a later time. Like, you don't got to do this. It's been plenty of times where I did that. I'm so quick and so fast at doing what I got to do that now I'm kind of prolonging everything. I can sit back and chill because I know I can get this done in 10 minutes. So therefore, my break is probably at 8:30. So I'm gonna go ahead and take my time. I'm gonna take my time. I'm gonna just, you know, listen to music, do what I gotta do, and then when the clock hit 8:20, I'm gonna go ahead and knock that out, and then boom, my break is at 8:30. So it's kind of like that in a way, but that can be, uh, um, that can kind of hold you back. Um, that can kind of hold you back because you don't know what may happen. Your schedule may be that, but guess what? What if your manager walk in or your boss walk in and be like, "Oh, you know, instead of taking your break at 8:30, I want you to do this instead and take your break probably like at 9 o'clock or 8:45." Or instead of taking your break instead of since you got 10 minutes on your time, I know that you got this done, so I'm gonna go ahead and tell you that I'm gonna ask you, can you do this instead for this 10 minutes until your break. Now you don't got it. Now you can't go out there and get what you had to do done because you know, you sat on it and you waited, and now your boss wants you to do something else. Now you're gonna have to figure out how to go and get what you were supposed to do in that 10 minutes done before your break. Or instead of going to take your break at 8:30, now you waited around, and now you got to do this on top of doing that because your schedule was changed. Your boss kind of intervened into the situation, and now you can't do that. Now you got to do that on top of doing this, and now you're going to be tired by the time your break comes. Will you be able to do what you got to do, because now it's 10 minutes taken away from your break. So anything can happen in that situation. That's kind of what I got. So from that, but my battery about to die, and I will talk to y'all later. I gotta go. get my son's clothes out the dryer because guess what? I got up and I got it done. So now my clothes is next, and I gotta figure that out because I got way more clothes than him. So yeah, bye. So I just came from washing my clothes. Well, checking on my clothes. I'm gonna have to go load my car because my clothes ain't dry yet. But when I was walking in the building, I seen these birds in the tree, and then it was a lot of birds of the same kind. And then this blue bird, I seen it went from one tree to that tree with all the other birds of the same kind. And when that blue bird went to that tree, you notice all the other birds of the same kind flew away. You know. Um, so yeah, I just wanted to speak on that because that was kind of, that's how I feel. Sometimes what happens in nature is a reflection of your own conscience, your own subconscious. Um, so I got some chicken left over, and I got some broccoli left over. Probably don't eat this broccoli. I don't know yet, but I'm hungry. But I'm gonna go load this car first though, because yeah. So yeah. Okay, so I know this might seem weird, but when you have a lot of time on your hands, you tend to adapt to the struggle in the most unheard of experiences. So, as I said, my freaking laundry was still wet, but the way I was feeling mentally, it's like I couldn't fathom the thought of going to the store, breaking this $10 bill, and going to the card machine and loading it, or even loading the $10 in itself. I don't have that much energy or mental energy, to do those things. It's just like, just the thought was exhausting, but at the same time, I I was hungry too. So I'm like, man. And you would think like, okay, so after you eat, then you'll have the energy to do that. No, after I ate, my stomach was hurting. So then I laid down, and it's just like the thought of just going out there and being out there. Plus, it's rainy and muggy. It's just like, no, it's just not going to happen for me. So if I don't get through all of these today, then I will take the rest with me. I will dry the rest with the rest of my clothes. So yeah, this is how I dry my clothes. When the dryer, you take 50 minutes to dry your clothes. That dryer is 50 minutes and it doesn't do the job. Instead of going through all of that, ow, that was hot, my bad. Instead of going through all of that complication, I just go ahead and dry my clothes this way. When you got nothing but time, why not? You know? Got a lot of time on my hands. My son's food, he's eating good. His dinner is already made, leftovers from chicken last night. So he will be eating on that today. So really, this is what I can do with my time. So yeah, I'll just dry it like this. So I commented on her on her video. And I would just like to hear her background story, honestly. Because, like, what brought her to the point, this point? So I'm listening to her podcast right now. Well, it was a podcast, not she on the video. I didn't even know that. Okay, so it started off as a podcast. Unless it switched up the video on me. Oh no, she must have went straight to a video after that. So, yeah, I left a comment for her. And this is the comment that she said back. She said, "Yep, the behavioral loops are difficult to snap out of. What made me snap out of the behavioral loops was a very serious chronic illness. This was the time I started to study and understand the power I hold, which in turn inspired me to want to help women to get out of this loop. I don't want other women to experience the illness that my body experienced. But to get to the bottom of everything is your mental and physical health. Once I cleared those two, the spiritual growth was amazing. Once I got all three, then my environment started to change. My family and I started to get closer. I started to clean more, do more, and decorate more. I agree something has to give eventually." And she told me to email her that she would like to help me with my journey of detoxing from my past life or my past experiences. I told her that was expiring, but I would like to, honestly, for me, I would just like to know, like, when did I basically I told her when did she realize that this change had to be made. So that's my biggest question for her, and I hope that she answers it, for the simple fact that, sorry, you see me laying like this, it's kind of weird. But I'm plugging in my charger. um, so yeah. I'm currently listening to her podcast. Um, I was, but I'm gonna turn off my headphones real quick because they have to. They're gonna have to charge. So yeah, like I said, this is what I do. So when it does dry, at least it dries, you know, in good quality. You know, I'm gonna do this and then I'm gonna go ahead and hang them up, just like that. So yeah, this is what I do. Usually it's not this wet, like the way this wet, like, but they came out of the freaking washer just soaked, and I'm just like, yeah, these gonna dry, but you know, that's what I'm saying. Like 50 minutes in the dryer should have did it. And if even me going back to the dryer, it will only dry a little bit more. It'll still be kind of probably damp. It probably would have got the job done, honestly. 2 drying sessions make sense when it came out the washer drenched with water, you know. But who else has a dryer that runs for 15 minutes and doesn't get the job done? That's actually unheard of. I was surprised when I said 50 minutes. What, drying time? And you ain't got the job done? That's like you working, you doing your job, and you got all this time to get it done and it ain't done. You fired. That's what I would tell that dryer. Man, you fired. You got all that time to get these clothes dried. And then some. All that time and then some. I expect my clothes to, if not be dry, if not be, to not be wet, I expect my clothes to be dry and then some. You know, so it's not really the quantity of the washer, but obviously it's the quality. The quality just ain't good. And the quality is not matching up with the quantity either. So it's just like a weird type of dryer. Dryer's just weird. I don't understand. You got all that time and the job ain't done. It's time for y'all to invest in some new dryers. Because those ain't doing nothing. Obviously. Obviously my housing is cheap. They some cheap people. Oh, that's why I gotta freaking pay my bill. I still ain't paid that bill yet. Yeah. I'm gonna have to do that next. Because my internet service on my phone is strictly for emergencies. If you feel what I mean. I need to put some water in here so I can get some steam coming out. So yeah. So at least when they dry, like I said, I'm gonna hang them up. At least when they dry, they're not gonna be all wrinkly and dangly and whatnot, all crunched up. At least they'll be kind of straight. So like I said, I'm gonna hang them up. I'm not going to do that dry anymore. I even do his underwear. It's like sitting out. Like when you got time on your hands like this, just think about yourself being at work. All that time you spend at work, just think about it that way. You're like, I ain't doing this, I ain't doing that. But you go to work and do everything they want you to do for them, but then you won't take the time to do something for yourself, for you. That's going to help you in the long run. Make it make sense. Invest that time into yourself and get something done. Figure out new solutions to problems, ongoing problems that just would throw you in a wreck, to where later on when you face that same problem, you will know how to deal with it this time. I'm not going to freaking iron his jacket. Yeah. So you know how to deal with it that time around. This one ain't even it. It's not that wet. I'ma still get it. I even did this. I had broke my flat irons. My flat irons had broke. And man, when I say my thing about to die, but hold on. When I say I used my iron to flat iron my wig, I used my iron to flat iron my wig. I be hearing, white people use flat irons to straighten their hair. I did the same thing. I was using my flat iron I was using this iron to straighten my wig. I sure did. Like, So yeah, I was just showing y'all what I do, But I am going to finish these up, hang these up, and I will see y'all next time. Thank y'all for listening. Bye.